I'm happy to be joined by the Happy Warrior, Roxanne Modafferi, who's getting ready to fight Lauren Murphy on June the 20th. Roxanne, how are you?
Great. Very well. I'm very good, thanks.
Good. Thank you for the time. I'm excited to see you step back in the cage, coming off the biggest win of your career. Obviously, things are kind of up in the air for all of us right now with this pandemic. What have you been up to? How much training have you been getting in?
So it's been crazy. I feel like I have two parts to my fight camp. The first part of my fight camp was in my Muay Thai coach's garage. AJ, I went to AJ's garage because, the gyms were closed and I'm like, I have to keep training. So, like every day I was like hitting mitts with him, and then I was doing strength and conditioning in Lorenzo's backyard, my trainer Lorenzo. So I've been like training really hard. And now, I'm working more with JoJo and some of the other girls on the team. So it's been kind of like crazy.
Yeah, I bet you're very excited just to get back in the cage and get back to some sense of normality. How has things been at Syndicate? Have you guys been opening back up, or is it still pretty much you guys are trying to, it's like a makeshift training?
Yeah, we're kind of makeshift. Like, we're really not allowed to go in the gym at this point. Like, pretty soon, I think they're opening things up in Vegas. We got to figure out a plan for that. I teach kids, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. But yeah, it's been kind of makeshift, so to speak.
For sure. Yeah. Tell me, I'm curious too, with you're an English teacher and you've also been teaching kids BJJ. Do you get more, is it more rewarding for you to go inside the cage and have a big win? Or when you see your students that are thriving and really moving on to, good things for themselves, how do you compare the two?
I think it's a completely different world there. I live with myself. The most important thing to myself is me. So my accomplishments are, of course, the most important thing to me. However, I give my heart and soul in teaching, and I love the kids, and just having them smile at me with their cute little faces, and then their parents thanking me and telling me I'm making a difference. Like, that's awesome too. So that's like another huge light in my life.
Yeah, I imagine that you would be a really good teacher. I can see the kids taking to you. That seems like a lot of people would agree with that assessment, I would imagine. Tell me, I've been watching a lot of Netflix and movies and trying to occupy myself during this pandemic. I know you're big into anime and you like Dragon Ball Z. Tell me, what have you been doing? Do you have any suggestions for anyone out there that is looking for something to watch?
Okay, actually on Netflix, two anime that I watched, recently were one is called Cells at Work. So basically, like, it personifies the human body. Like, this girl with red hair is a red blood cell, and her job is to carry this like box. Like, she's like a delivery service. She's a red blood cell, so she carries the box to like the cells in the body. And then this big tall guy dressed in white, he's the white blood cell, and he has to like go murder all the viruses and the blood spurting everywhere. He's like, yeah, I killed the virus. Like, it's so funny. It's really good. Like, you should watch Cells at Work. And also cool. God Eater is another one. It sounds strange, but it's like kind of a post-apocalyptic monster one, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen those yet. I'll definitely have to check them out. Have you seen Ozark? That's been my go-to. You haven't seen that?
It was good though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you get into those type of series or shows, or are you you steer away from kind of like those darker type dramas?
I think I looked up the plot and I'm not really that interested. I might give it a try just because everyone's talking about it, but I mean, I kind of like more like I'm watching The Gifted, which is an X-Men spinoff, and I like The Arrow, and I like Flash, Prison Break, like those kinds of things that are kind of supernatural-ish.
Sure. Yeah. No, I like all of those. Arrow is a very good show. Now,
I live in the real world. I want to see some fantasy.
You know what? That makes sense. I'm with you 100% on that. Now, obviously, everyone knows you're coming off probably the biggest win of your career, beating Maycee Barber, an upstart. Everyone was thinking that she was going to be on a fast track to a title at some point here soon. One thing that bothered me afterwards were the detractors kind of taking away from your win, saying that if she didn't get injured, you wouldn't have gone in there and did what you did. Looking back at it now, I know you spoke with Ariel Helwani, you were on his show, and you said how you felt. But looking back on it now, what do you take away from that? And has it just made you stronger as a person and thicken your skin, I guess?
So the best part about that was that nobody agreed with her. All the fans were like, "Yeah, no, you lost." So like when people were talking about it, I was reading social media and they're like, yeah, no, Roxy would have beaten her anyway. So it was cool. Like, everyone was on my side. So it didn't really matter what she said. It just kind of made her look bad. So I was happy, it wouldn't have bothered me, I think, anyway, because I could feel that I was doing well, and she's still powerful and dangerous. Like, she hit me, she reversed me, so I was, I felt good about my performance mostly. But it was funny. Like, I love my fans. Thank you, guys.
You have a lot of fans that support you, no doubt about it. You did say that, your striking coach, AJ, really has been helping you and your evolution as a fighter. What do you attribute that performance to? Is it your striking? Do you just feel like your overall game over the last year or two has just really evolved?
So, John Wood is my head coach at Syndicate, and he's really good at kind of giving me techniques that work with my style and like meld with my wrestling and stuff like that. And I think I started working with AJ last year, and he's been adding a lot of like power to my strikes, as well as like kind of linking what I've been doing with strength and conditioning. Also teaching me good body mechanics, so I feel like it's not just AJ, but like a combination of those things has kind of like upped my game.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, I need all three of those guys to, be in my corner.
Well, clearly you're really evolving. I mean, that performance over Maycee was amazing. I do got to ask you, you'll be 38 years old this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Quit giving me years to my life. Everyone's like, oh, she's almost 40. It's like, no, I'm 37. Leave me alone.
you don't look at you. So you
Get
got
out there.
For you. I'm just curious, how much longer do you see yourself doing this? You see a lot of fighters nowadays that are fighting well into their 40s. Is that something that you want to do?
I mean, I feel great. I feel like I'm only getting stronger. Man, like a decade ago, like 8 years ago when I was in Japan, I was so riddled with injuries and I was weak and like I felt horrible. But then, I came to Syndicate, got stronger, got a great massage therapist, Terry, Lorenzo got me stronger. I feel great. So I'm pretty sure like I'm just going to keep fighting until I, can't, or unless my brain starts getting concussed, like I got to be smart about that. I don't know. Who knows, really? I'm just going to run with it, see how far I can go.
Do you feel like you'll make a transition into teaching full time when you do decide to hang it up?
I'm not sure about that either. I feel like with each fight is like such a pivotal point in my life. Like if I'd lost that Maycee fight, I'm sure like everything would be going down. But now, everything's going up. It's so crazy the way fighting works for you, I would love to work for the UFC, actually. Like, I feel like I'm really organized. I did event planning once with them in Japan. I was a translator for them. I don't know, like I could teach. I love teaching. It's stressful, and teachers love it so much. They tend to do a lot of unpaid overtime, and I've done that myself. So I don't know.
Well, I'm sure whatever you do, you'll be successful, clearly. Now, everyone knows Valentina Shevchenko is the champion. I know you're not looking past Lauren Murphy right now, but tell me a couple of other matchups that you feel like would be good for you after this fight. Let's just assume you win. Is there someone else that you really have your eyes on?
I am not looking past Lauren Murphy, just as you said.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's talk about that. How do you feel you match up with her?
I am super excited for this matchup. I think that the things I'm good at are going to let me win this fight. So I don't feel like I need to like learn any new skills to defeat her. Although I do have a new superpower attack, a finishing move, but it's like too powerful for my body to handle. So I have to be careful how much I practice it and how much I throw it. Like I have to be careful. Don't tell anybody. It's like Kaioken from Dragon Ball Z, if you know that reference.
Okay. I know where you're going with that. Well, I'm excited to see what you're going to do inside the cage. Now, you used to being on, The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, fighting in front of, not as many people on that show. But this is going to be a different animal, in itself. I mean, on ESPN Plus, the whole world is going to be watching. How do you feel that's going to affect your performance? Do you think it's going to? I mean, because everyone knows the crowd really gets you excited, and that's not going to be the case here. So, just how are you going to manage that?
So when I fought on The Ultimate Fighter, it was eerily quiet. You could hear a pin drop, but they're watching. So like, that thousands of people are like watching you, right? So, but I got over it. I fought multiple times in The Ultimate Fighter. I could hear my coach really well, but I can always hear him anyway. It's fine. It'll be great.
Now, I know the UFC, they're going to be having a smaller cage here moving forward at the Apex. How do you feel that will change? Will it change your game plan? Will it help you or benefit you here with this fight with Lauren?
Yeah, people keep asking me that. I like using the cage. I'm going to corner her on the cage. Well, she'll probably do the same to me. It'll be fine. No problem, whatever. I fought in a small cage before. I fought in a big cage. So whatever. Bring it on.
Well, how do you see yourself getting your hand raised? Obviously, you're not going to give away your game plan, but do you see yourself?
This is how it shall happen.
Do you see yourself getting her out of there? Are you gonna get a finish, or do you think this will be a decision? I
really want a knockout in my career, and I'm not sure if she's the right one to give me that because she has a hard head and she's really sturdy. So I don't know. I'm gonna try. We'll see. I'll do whatever way I can win. I'll try to win.
Well, we're all excited to see you step back in the cage, Roxy. Always a pleasure to watch you compete. I thank you for the time. If there's anyone you want to thank here before I let you go, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Team Syndicate, John, AJ, Lorenzo, Neil, my quarantine buddies, Justin Osborne and Kelly, like the 2 people I was training with for 2 months in the garage. Did I say Neil? Yeah, thank you, and all the fans who are supporting me. And check out my T-shirts. I'm selling T-shirts and also books on my website, RoxanneModafferi.net.